catching me from, my name is MD90. Welcome to my YouTube channel. If you're not subscribed to the channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button, turn on the bell notification to all so that you do not miss the uploads that come up. And the easiest way for you to navigate the channel is to head to the playlist. You'll find videos curated for you based on your interest. So if you're interested in the Kutika podcast, you'll find a playlist for that. For news and trends, there's a playlist for that. Exclusive with MD90, a bunch of playlists that are created based on your interest. So the easiest way to navigate the channel is head straight to the playlist and you'll find what you're here for. Consider becoming a member of the channel. Right next to the subscribe button is the join button. You click on the join button so that you can become a member of the channel. You support the team on the production and a number of things that we're doing here, and we appreciate that.
Following the attempted assassination of former president of the US, Donald Trump, President Hakainde Hichilema has a message with regard to the same. So the president said this: "We in Zambia are saddened by the attempted assassination of former President Donald Trump. Extremism, anarchy, criminality, and lawlessness have no place in any society. The rest of us in the world join the US to condemn the criminal act and learn lessons for the future. We wish former President Trump a quick recovery." President Hakainde Hichilema of the Republic of Zambia, he signs it off. Edgar Lungu also did the same. He had a message of the situation that happened in the US where Trump was shot. Pretty much his ear, part of his ear was shot. So Edgar Lungu equally had a statement in response to that, similar to what President Hakainde Hichilema had written. But there's been this news to say, this was in the mass newspaper, no to Hakainde Hichilema and the Lungu reconciliation that involves our president getting away with corruption in the name of peace, a UPND member. So this was reported in the mass newspaper saying that UPND member that remains undisclosed, that the UPND is not willing to do any negotiations with Edgar Lungu or the PF, which will involve Hakainde Hichilema reconciling with Edgar Lungu in the name of keeping peace and then letting the alleged corruption cases just go like that. So that's what that headline means there. But then again, the underlying truth to this reconciliation between President Hakainde Hichilema and Edgar Lungu is this: President Hakainde Hichilema expects an apology from Edgar Lungu. And Edgar Lungu is not willing to give that apology over the things that were done to Hakainde Hichilema during opposition. If you remember, they broke into his house. He was arrested for, I think, 125 days or something. So those things, and then there are some things that had happened to him when he was in prison that other people keep on circulating to say these things had happened. And he, at some point in an interview, he even stated to say he was placed in a room full of feces. So things like that probably are the underlying tone to what the president Hakainde Hichilema expects from Lungu, and Lungu will not do that. Ego will not allow, unless if they are a neutral person that they both respect and they would be both willing to listen to. That's the only way it could work. And the only person we had at the time was the late president Arabi. Arabi was respected by Edgar Lungu because if you remember during the build-up after Michael Sata died, there was some conflict, just like now in PF, who was going to succeed Michael Sata. And then obviously Arabi, being the former president, endorsed Edgar Lungu and then pretty much cleared the way for him to become president, more like he placed him on that seat. So Edgar Lungu had a lot of reverence for Arabi, Rupia Banda. Then again, if you remember in 2021, when President Hakainde Hichilema won those elections, the current president of the Republic of Zambia, there was that undertone response that started coming from the PF, where they were not willing to accept the results, the presidential results. Like they accepted first, and then Edgar Lungu's team issued a statement to say the opposition had rigged or something in those light. The person that was critical in making sure that Edgar Lungu concedes and accepts the results was still RB. So, which makes Hakainde Hichilema regard him in the same light. He was very critical in ensuring that there was a smooth transition of power from Edgar Lungu to Hakainde Hichilema. So those two individuals, that is President Hakainde Hichilema and former President Edgar Lungu, both respected RB. And if he was around, that was the only person that could have facilitated that reconciliation under whatever terms that each of them would agree to. But the current crop of leaders, be it from the church, you'll find that some of them are aligned with Edgar Lungu and making it difficult for President Hakainde Hichilema to regard them. Same thing, there are some of them are aligned with President Hakainde Hichilema, which is making it difficult for Edgar Lungu to respect those individuals. That's where the ball game becomes dicey. So I don't know how that plays out, this reconciliation, if it's to be. If not, they are both okay. Anyway, but after what happened in the US, where Trump was an assassination attempt was done on Donald Trump, the conversation started back home here with regard to Edgar Lungu. And these are the different statements that started coming from that conversation online. Different sectors of society were issuing statements. So the Patriotic Front went first. So they put up a statement to say, give Edgar Lungu security team and motorcade. Zambians score on HH. So the Zambians have started calling upon President Hakainde Hichilema to restore the security detail and provide former head of state Edgar Lungu with motorcade, adding to that incident which involved them after the incident which involved US former President Donald Trump happened, and then it can happen anywhere. So this statement was issued by an alleged youth advocate. So pretty much the statement is asking the president to reinstate those powers, to say they shouldn't have to do with anything with regard to the statements that Lungu does, be it is in active politics or not. And then Laura Miti also doubled down. So I'm just picking up some of the statements that have been issued from different sectors of the society. So Laura Miti also put up an article with regard to the same. So this was posted by Kalemba. So they say, guest article, Lungu should have state protection, Laura Miti. So the attempted assassination of former President Trump is why I am of the firm view that President Lungu should have state protection. The protection of our former president should have nothing to do with what they do or did not do or do not say or whatever. Pretty much, they shouldn't even be able to refuse it. Meaning, state security should be mandatory, whether the former president wants it or not. That's what she means there. The fact that an individual once held the highest office in the land makes them important and state property for life. Their protection should be standard. It should never be reviewed except in an emotional, technical terms that seek to make it even better. It should be in the hands of technocrats and security experts, not politicians. So pretty much the argument that she's giving there to say, even if someone decides to come back in active politics like Edgar Lungu has done, yes, the other benefits may be stripped from him, but the state security should be mandatory because he knows a lot about the nation, state secrets. So it shouldn't even be an option where he can get to choose whether he's going to have protection from the state or not. That's the argument she's putting up there. Yes, the other benefits that come with the office, like having a sheriff and those trips that the former president is entitled to, those can be stripped off based off political activities of a former head of state. But the security should be critical and should be mandatory, not based off what someone does. That's Laura Miti's argument there. What is that meeting between the Catholic bishops and President Hakainde Hichilema is still trending. It should have happened like 4 days ago, if I'm not mistaken. It should have been on Thursday or Friday last week when that meeting happened. And it seems like different sections of the society want to know exactly what the discussion was all about. So Emmanuel Mwamba, this is the former ambassador to South Africa during Edgar Lungu's time. He says, was it a pastoral letter or is it for the president, meaning President Hakainde Hichilema, or for the people? So pretty much he's saying to say whatever the Catholic Church or the Catholic bishops had written to President Hakainde Hichilema, they are supposed to make it public to say whether they are reprimanding him or not. But then again, one body that cannot be twisted or coerced into making a decision is the Catholic Church. It's very autonomous usually. The only person that they would listen to is the Pope. So this side of the coin that the PF is trying to go with it, trying to make them issue a pastoral letter that was given in privacy to President Hakainde Hichilema, that can only be publicized by the Catholic Church if they feel the person that it's intended for does not issue the right statement, does not yield to the advice that they have given, then you expect them to make it public. But if the person that you're advising, President Hakainde Hichilema apologized, if you are not aware, he had apologized to the church for the things that have been happening by the police invading the church and other instances. So the person that you are reprimanding apologizes, and yet you want the reprimand that you have done to make it public, then what's the point? Is it for show or is it for action? So the fact that the intended effect has been obtained, why would the bishops be compelled to make that letter public? I don't see that happening, no matter how much the PF tries to push that agenda of trying to make that letter public. That will only happen if they see that what they advised President Hakainde Hichilema during that meeting is not being implemented. Then the Catholic Church, you see them making public statements, media statements. But otherwise, if the person that they're advising implements the things, you don't see that. That will not happen. So that was Mano Mwamba saying that. So obviously, different sections of the newspapers, this is the Daily Nation, say Catholic Church finally contend. So pretty much trying to jab at the Catholic bishops to say, they did not make their statement public. This will not work. This can work for on small people that do not understand reverse psychology. But anyway, let's wait and see how that works. So they say the Catholic Church challenged and to make the pastoral letter that they are prepared. Is it a pastoral letter now, or is it a President Hakainde Hichilema letter? Is it a letter for the masses? So you see that this is still the PF caption trying to make that letter public. It will not happen. It will only happen when President Hakainde Hichilema does not do as advised. What is the issue of ZESCO seems to be an issue to say. There's been an argument to say, considering the state of the nation, the level of the load shedding that the country is going through, certain exports should be banned or should be put on hold. And ZESCO, Botswana has just revealed that Zambia is supplying it almost 50% of the power there. So I was just in Botswana, if you remember. I'm sure you guys have seen it on this channel. There's no load shedding there. Power is very abundant, and it was nice to enjoy. So they're just confirming this is the Botswana. So according to the Botswana Weekend Post newspaper, ZESCO supplies them with 48.8% of the electricity imports. So you see that? That's the confirmation. This was in the newspaper in Botswana, which was published. And yeah, so government has to make a statement. And they've made a statement on this to say they have no intentions of reducing on the exports, because it's a good revenue stream for foreign direct investment for government. So they don't see how keeping it in the local market will benefit them in terms of the resources. So that's the situation. It's load shedding, nothing is happening there. What is the news diggers says the UPND is struggling with corruption. Revelations in the FIC report show a lack of progress. Lefuka. So that's in the daily. News diggers. What is the same news diggers says Christians behave borrowing money from priests is bad manners. Father Chonde. So that's for you Christians. And then there's also a news. They said DEC intercepts cartons of Malawan Kwacha at Kenneth Kaunda International Airport. So those are the ones that you see on the bottom of the screen on that newspaper. So someone was trying to smuggle Malawan Kwacha either to the US or somewhere else, but it was intercepted by our Drug Enforcement Commission here in Zambia at Kenneth Kaunda International Airport. There. What else is in the news? So corruption is a complex, it's complex and evolving challenge. SEC Director General says, and then this is in the mass newspaper. A decision on the 2026 vote already made. UPND has lost 3 years or 3 years fighting opposition parties instead fulfilling promises. Chungu. So that's an argument he has to say the decision has been made by the Zambians already. I don't know what that decision is, whether it is to vote for President Hakainde or vote him out. I don't know what he means there. But anyway, you can see it on screen, what he says. That's the news, ladies and gentlemen. If anything else comes up, I'll keep you posted.